heard of lithium before, as in batteries, but it's actually a naturally occurring mineral, something our body uses, and it might one day help protect your brain. A growing body of researchers are looking at whether tiny amounts of lithium could help protect against Alzheimer's.
And this is so important because with over 7 million Americans currently living with the disease, and that number expected to double in the next 35 years, it's a discovery that could be game-changing. Dr. Natalie Gentile joins us to explain what the science is saying. There's some really interesting information coming out, and I think we all took a pause because we think lithium batteries. That's immediately what I thought. This is not that. It's the same mineral that can be used in that, though.
Yes, and the first thing I thought of actually was lithium, the medication that we use in significantly higher amounts in people with conditions like bipolar disorder. So I think headlines like this can be sometimes misleading or lead us to have preconceived notions about what they're actually talking about.
Okay. Yeah. And how does this relate to Alzheimer's? And is lithium somewhere perhaps in the root causes of the disease?
So we're seeing that trace elements like lithium or selenium or iron, some of these elements that are really important and found in small amounts in our daily diets, can be helpful for protecting our brain. Now, where we run into trouble is making giant leaps then to say that therefore a deficiency leads to problems with our brain, right? And so that's where science comes in, and these big studies need to continue to happen to really see if there's causation.
Because what I understand is this is a study that was done on mice. So we haven't really done much else with this, but what they were seeing is how this was increasing the lithium in these mice was helping with memory.
Sure, and then to extrapolate that into human beings takes many more years of research and bigger studies. But anything like this can be promising in such a devastating disease.
Yeah, and why might a deficiency maybe lead to something like Alzheimer's or help maybe cause it? And how do you get a deficiency? Is it you're missing maybe a food group or something that you're doing?
So deficiencies can happen usually because of dietary influences, but sometimes people have problems with absorbing certain minerals, and that can lead to that too. But we know that things like Alzheimer's and other neurodegenerative diseases have a lot of factors impacting them, right? It's not just your diet or just an element that's missing. And so it might be that you might not have enough of a certain element, but you also haven't been exercising for most of your life. You have poor sleep, low social support. So it's multifactorial.
You mentioned a couple other minerals as well. And I think so often we reach for a multivitamin or something on the shelves without actually knowing how it's working in our body. So how are these minerals, you mentioned iron, the lithium, and there was one other one. How do those work in our bodies?
They can be helpful in bringing down inflammation in the body. And we know that chronic inflammation in the brain can increase your risk of Alzheimer's disease. They also can help with regeneration of neurons. So the nerve cells in our brains that are important for memory, for example, they can be helpful in protecting those and maybe making new ones.
Yeah, I know so many people are affected by Alzheimer's. What makes it so difficult to treat, and especially treat early?
Yeah, so you have early onset Alzheimer's, which is a whole other thing. There's genetic risk factors for that. But the one we most commonly think of is later onset, after age 65 or so. That's developing for many, many years before you even see memory deficits, right? And so that's why it can be challenging by the time you get to the point where it's really profound and you're seeing it in your loved one or in yourself. There's not much that we have available right now to help, definitely not treat, and slowing progression is still, a dream in the distant future.
Dr. Gentile, I want to go back to something you mentioned because you said we got to look at the whole picture. We're looking at this one little tiny piece that maybe could provide some answers in the future, but you mentioned exercise. How does that play into how our brains are functioning?
Exercise is so important for increasing blood flow to the brain, to the whole body, right? And when we have that improved blood flow, we can decrease that chronic inflammation I was talking about. Bringing down that inflammation in the body and especially in the brain will help memory function long term.
Yeah. Wonderful. And how do we get lithium? Is it something that we supplement with? Do we need to eat more of a certain food?
Most of us are just getting it through our daily dietary patterns, whether it be through, water sources and different foods that we're eating. So most of us do not need to be worrying about getting it through our diet. It's already happening.
I'm so glad that you came to talk about this because I do think you're right. We see these headlines and we think, oh my gosh, is this it? Is this what we were looking? This is the missing link. But it's good to take it one baby step at a time.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gentile. And if you are interested in learning more about direct care physicians of Pittsburgh or Rebel Wellness, you can head to our website, kdka.com/talkpittsburgh.